Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we're going to be showcasing a relatively minor mod for the Empire in a sense, but one which will give you a new type of playstyle experience, where essentially you'll start off your campaign playing off in a form of a resistance movement against the Undead of Sylvania, and hopefully be able to reform the Grand Imperial Province once again. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Your campaign will begin in Western Sylvania, with your army already taking attrition. You control no territories, and you'll start off at war not only with the Undead of Tempelhof, but also the main Sylvanian faction led by Manfred von Karstein. Manfred will also be fighting the Undead of Tempelhof, meaning that you have a buffer between you and Drakenhof Castle. You won't start at war with Vlad, however do keep an eye on him, as there are times where he can just randomly declare war on you. Of course, as you're playing as a new faction, the Grand County of Sylvania, you will also have your own faction effects, which goes as follows. Attrition minus 50% casualties suffered from vampiric territory attrition, faction-wide of course. Melee attack plus 8 when fighting against vampire counts, vampire coast and tomb kings for all armies. And Untainted plus 8 faction-wide. These are quite useful benefits early on, but most cases they will become quite redundant within, let's say, 15 turns or so, as I'd imagine that the player base would normally have gotten rid of all the vampire count factions in Sylvania by around 15 to 20 turns. Now of course we can see some other effects which are quite punishing to Empire players. Recruitment costs plus 100% for gunpowder units in all armies, upkeep plus 100% for gunpowder units in all armies, and reload time minus 20% for gunpowder units for all armies. And this is what I meant about a new playstyle experience. Don't worry, you can somewhat negate these effects, but it's still going to be quite punishing for you. It's no longer faith, steel and gunpowder, but just faith and steel. Your new legendary lord is a melee-based character with a few custom skills. The majority of those skills are either around reforming the area of Sylvania into something more habitable, or providing buffs against the undead legions, so you do have a bit to play with here. His final skill, Count of Sylvania, will also give him some benefits which are faction-wide, which will affect all of your regions, such as increased tax, more public order and so on. So if you're playing in harder difficulties, this might actually be quite a beneficial skill for you. Of course, as this is a legendary lord, he will also have his own trait, Diplomatic Relations plus 15 with the Empire, which is kinda useful. Casualty replenishment rate plus 8% for all state troops in his army, and as we've discussed, state troops themselves will form a large majority of your armies, so this is extremely helpful. And finally, leadership plus 8 when fighting against vampire counts, vampire coast and tomb kings for this army. This also stacks with your faction effects and any other bonuses. The faction itself will have some unique buildings and also some unique units only available to them. There aren't really a lot of new units, however there is the added benefit that the new units themselves are artillery based, and they're not gunpowder based weaponry, which means that they won't suffer from any of the negatives by your faction effect. You will also notice some buildings have been implemented to give it more of a Sylvanian feel. Some vampire count based buildings have also been added in, but changed around to act more as an imperial building. Castle Drakenhof will also have some unique landmarks specifically to this faction alone. The Drakenhof Imperial College will be what will reduce all the negatives for all gunpowder based units. Though keep in mind that this is not a full reduction, they're still gonna cost a little bit more, but the benefits are there and it will help. And of course the Court Hall will provide for some great benefits faction wide. Both of these buildings are only available in the tier 5 settlements, so it will take a while for you to actually unlock them. Also keep in mind that none of the provinces outside of Sylvania will have access to any of your new units. You can only recruit them inside of Sylvania. It's not so much of a problem as you start expanding, because by then you've already united Sylvania, so the benefits are already there, but I thought it best to point this out. The mod also introduces a new generic lord, that of the Witch Hunter General. This is essentially just a witch hunter with just a few different things added in. If you're used to using the witch hunters in Total War Warhammer Vanilla, then you already know what these can do. The only difference here is that you can use them as a lord, which is a quite thematic thing. Lore-wise, a lot of witch hunters would be dispatched to Sylvania to deal with the obvious undead problem. So it's a lore-friendly implementation, and it harkens back to the tabletop where you could actually have hero characters leading your armies as their generals. On screen right now are all the units added in through this mod, and there's not really a lot, as I stated before. Honestly, the mod itself is interesting because it provides a new gameplay experience for you. As you are aware, Balthazar Gelt normally fights greenskins at the start, and Karl Franz or Volkmar fights the secessionists. So having a new start fighting against the Undead of Sylvania will provide a new challenge, especially on harder difficulties where they'll spawn armies very quickly. My only actual complaint regarding this mod is the fact that the units themselves seem to use the Reichland colours. In a more thematic sense, they should be using the Sylvanian colours if the whole purpose of this campaign is to reform Sylvania. It's nothing law-breaking, it's just more of a bit of immersion that I'd like to see, but other than that I think that it's a fun campaign. I played it for a few hours and really enjoyed it, plus it's compatible with a lot of different mods. If you'd like to check it out for yourself instead of starting another Karl Franz campaign, you can find a direct link in the description below. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.